Hi, I'm going to show you how to make this very pretty ruffled scarf. It's actually quite easy, even though it looks complicated. I found the pattern on Ravelry. It's called Ruffled on Ravelry. Um, and anybody can do this. It's a very easy beginner scarf, even though it looks complicated. And it's basically short rows. And what short rows are when you knit across part of the row and then turn around and knit back. Instead of knitting across the whole row, and so that increases the length along just that part that you knit the short row. Now, normally when you do a short row, you do something called a wrap and turn, which I'm not going to be going over. Wrap and turns basically prevent there from being small holes created when you turn your work, which I'll explain in a minute. But in a scarf like this that's being knit with really large needles, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to do the wrap and turns. You can just turn your work. Alright, so I'm using size 11 needles, and I'm using Misty Alpaca hand paint chunky yarn. That was a gift from a good friend. And so the pattern is first to knit 4, which I will go ahead and do now. Try to get a bit closer. Well, you know how to knit. If you're watching this video, you know how to knit. Alright, so I've knit 4. Then what I do is I take my yarn, move it to the other side, and I just turn my work around and pretend that this was the end of the row. I knit the 4 back. 1, 2. It's hard to knit while holding my hand thing up. 3, 4. Alright, so I'm back at the end of the row where I started. Alright, next I'm going to knit 6, a short row with 6 in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and between 4 and 5, 6, between 4 and 5 you'll notice there is a bit of a gap. I'll show you that more next time. That's where the holes come in. But I've just knit 6 stitches, moved the yarn to the other side, turned it around, that's the turn, and I'll knit 6 going back, just like normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, and next I turn the work around, and next I knit 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and between 6 and 7 there's a big space, and that's fine. 7, 8. And then I turn my yarn over to the other side, turn my work, and I knit 8 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, I'm back again where I started, turn my work around, and this time I knit across the whole row, all 20 stitches. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that you cast on 20 to start. In between 8 and 9, again, there's going to be a larger space. That'll be a small hole in your work, but that's okay since we're knitting with big needles and doing a fun pattern like this. No one's really going to be able to see the holes. If you wanted, you could do the more fancy wrap and turn method, which I'm not going to go over, and that would eliminate the holes, but then that would make this scarf take a heck of a lot of time. And it's much faster just to do the turns without the wrapping. Alright, end of the row. That's it. And so what that did was, here, spread it out. This was the side that I started on, and what that did was it created an increase and made this move up. So it's got more material than the spine of the scarf. You can see the spine of the scarf, there you go, running down there. And you see there's all this extra material from all the short rows, and that's what, when you have a longer scarf, it forms this nice ruffled pattern. Now if you do this with about 200 yards of chunky yarn, you'll get a nice scarf, a nice short length scarf. The pattern suggests that you put a button on your scarf to help hold it in place, and you can just slide the button through any of these holes that you've conveniently created by doing the regular turns without the wrap and turn. So I hope that helps you make your own beautiful ruffled scarf. Oh, this, by the way, is 100 yards, so this is about half the length of the scarf that it will be. Thank you for watching.